Coming back to you live right now from the H&N Digital Center on this first alert weather day. I'm Jonathan Jared Soppy alongside Dylan and Cheta. We just got some new images into our newsroom, and I want to bring them up and show them to you right now. These just came in minutes ago. I'm being told this is about a 50-foot tall tree that has gone down as this winter storm batters the state. Oahu really feeling a brunt of it right now. This is in Mililani, and this is coming to us from Carol Cox. Again, he's saying it's about a 50-foot tall tree that fell down. It looks like over a fence there. I'm not familiar with the exact location of where this went down, but it just gives you an idea of what we are dealing with. And this scene, not unique. We've been seeing it all day long. Here's another new image just into our newsroom from Kapolei, and this is of a smaller tree falling on top of a very expensive car there in a parking lot there on the west side of Oahu. A Tesla, it looks like. Yeah, a newer Tesla, too.
Be very careful of where you're parking today. Be mindful that there is some strong winds out there, and as we're seeing, these trees are toppling down. There are leaning power lines that have forced the closure of Kamehameha Highway here on Oahu, and there are just a number of alerts that we want to get to today. Right now, there are, at last check, about 9 alerts posted for Oahu, or for the state, I should say. One of the biggest ones is the flash flood warning that remains in effect until 1:30 p.m. this afternoon for the island of Hawaii. Forecasters say around 12:30, radar found rain gauges was picking up some heavy showers moving over the North Kona and South Kona districts. Rain was falling at about 1 to 2 inches per hour there. And of course, the ground is already so saturated from the prefrontal rain that we have seen over the last few hours and last night. This is a live look at our radar right now. You can see that band of thunderstorms. It's sweeping over Oahu. It's already kind of cleared Kauai, and they're sort of drying out. But at this point, the heaviest of showers is focused on Oahu, and it looks like it is making its way over to Maui County. Not too long ago, there was a severe thunderstorm warning posted for Oahu. However, that was allowed to expire because the one bit of good news here, Jonathan, this front, the thunderstorms, they are moving rather quickly over the islands.
Yeah,
and so we're not seeing a lot of stationary downpours, but the downpours that are coming are strong, are heavy, and they are being accompanied by some very gusty winds. And that's why there is also a high wind warning up for all Hawaii Islands through Monday afternoon, including the summits of Hawaii Island, Maui as well. Forecasters are worried. They're saying that we can expect some winds between 25 to 40 miles per hour with localized gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Those are some very strong winds. Again, the high wind warning for all Hawaii Islands, and that is right now set to last until 6 p.m. this evening. With those winds, you want to make sure to tie down some loose objects around your house, bring in those Christmas decorations if you have to, and make sure things are just secured out and around your house.
Yeah, you see 60-mile-per-hour winds. Think about it like this, guys. Hurricane Category 1 is 70 miles per hour, I believe. So 60-mile-per-hour gusts. I know it's up in the summits. Not many people are up there. But if you don't need to go up there, you're visiting, not a good time to go check out those telescopes or anything like that.
We also, here on Oahu, got some images in Waikiki. The beach is empty. So that's a good thing. People are obviously
right here.
There you go. That is Waikiki. A empty Waikiki. This is what Waikiki looked like during the pandemic with no one was there. But of course, this is just a regular day here in Hawaii. And the severe weather, we got a jellyfish warning there. Mix that in with the severe weather, and people are staying home. They are staying out. It's not a good day to be at the shorelines.
With those shorelines, it doesn't look bad now. But I've seen images coming in from other islands. There's some yucky brown water out there that you do not want to get into. And you were right. Ke'ahi Tucker sent us this video in from Waikiki, and it is a ghost town there. Check that out. Yeah. I was just out last week in Waikiki. It was crazy busy. All right, guys, I want to pull up this radar one more time because Dylan did a great job running through all the alerts for us. I want to remind you of a couple things as we look at this radar. A, you can get this in the palm of your hand anytime, because if you haven't downloaded that Hawaii News Now weather app, do it now to keep track of this storm and keep track of this radar all day long live. You can keep yourself, your family, your property safe. A couple things else with this radar that we're looking at live right now. B, see that purple? See all that purple? That's
I see
something
it.
we don't see a lot of here in this state. That's lightning. Look at the number of strikes that are happening right now across the state. We've seen some impressive lightning shows from this storm system, this cold front that's moving through. Third, and I don't think a lot of people realize this with radar when we're looking at it, it's just really simple primer here that I'm going to give you. So pay really close attention to under where it says radar, where it's giving the timestamp, so you can see exactly where we are now at the 12:30 when it gets to 12:30. You got to pay attention to that when you're looking at radar, because you don't want to pay attention to the older stuff, but you want to see the motion, the timestamps, to see where the storm is going, where you can sort of get an idea of where everything's movement's going through. Again, you can zoom in even closer than we're showing you right now with that H&N digital app, the weather app. Download it now. I cannot say it enough. What do you say we run through a few more videos for you? This came in about 40 minutes ago now from the Salt Lake area, and this has already moved through that area.
Whipping winds. Look at that.
Look at it. I know. I think I have some sound here. Wow. Yeah. And that's why we're seeing those downed trees. And look at those waves of bands of rains coming through in this stuff. We got some more video to show you. I got some stuff coming in from Kalihi as well. This is from one of our producers. Again, listen to this.
It's
Rushing
gushing.
water coming down off that roof there in Kalihi at this warehouse district area. And it really can see how hard it was coming down. Again, about 45 minutes ago in Kalihi, you can just see almost a waterfall coming off that roof there, and just raging rain. Again, it's not over yet. We're going to see a lot more of this stuff too. And I have a couple more videos I wanted to play out for you. This is actually from over the past couple days, but it's really an impressive show. This is time-lapse video from Terry Reese, a big-time weather contributor to us here at H&N, longtime viewer and picture submitter, I would say. Yeah, and this is really cool. So I could look at these clouds motions all day. It's almost hypnotic.
And again, this is over the last couple of days, not just today alone. And this just shows that our atmosphere has been really unstable ever since this front started. The prefrontal bands have been moving in.
I said days, but actually, if you look at the timestamp, it's the 7 a.m. hour.
7 a.m.
But it's over a previous time is what I was trying to say there.
Well, we've been seeing lightning ever since last night, even the day before, actually. Some rumbles off in the distance, and all that juicy moisture in the air surrounding the islands really gripping us right now. And we are keeping an eye on many things, including some road closures, both here on Oahu and on Hawaii Island.
Yeah, I got some video of that for you.
Yeah, this is out in windward Oahu, Kamehameha Highway. At the top of the hour, or a little bit before noon, it was announced that Kamehameha Highway was closed in both directions because of some leaning utility poles. Now, the closure is between Haiku Road and He'eia Street. Crews are aware of it, and they are working to repair the poles and get the road back open as soon as possible. And I also want to briefly mention Highway 190 over on Hawaii Island. That is, police there are inviting motorists to steer clear of that near the 33-mile marker in Kailua Kona because a tree has fallen there. It's blocking the roadway and has closed at least one lane of traffic on Highway 190 between Old Government Road and Kaiminani Drive, excuse me. So officers there are contraflowing traffic for the next hour as they work to remove the tree. So a lot going on, not just on Oahu, but on many different islands. And this video here is from Maui. This is I believe it's the Nu'u Bridge. This is video from our Chelsea Davis showing that a flood already came through and washed out that bridge. All that water just funneling down from the mountains. The grounds everywhere are just so saturated at this point that forecasters are concerned that the strongest of this front is still to come, or it's at least moving down the islands. Again, it's currently on Oahu, and so scenes like this are becoming common today here on this first alert weather day. And wherever you are, be sure to drive with caution as the roads may be flooded. And one more live look at this radar here. Once again, this is all the lightning strikes popping up all the way across the street. You see the state. You see over there in Kailua Kona, they're just getting battered. Here on Oahu, that severe thunderstorm warning has expired. However, there is still a severe thunderstorm watch, which means the threat is lingering all
Yeah.
across the state.
Especially for the Valley Isle. You just saw the video there from Nu'u Bridge, and that, again, just telling you how saturated it already is for the island of Maui. And then more rain, that line is coming right for you right now. You see the 1240 timestamp just hitting the edge of the Valley Isle right now. So keep a close eye out. Stay indoors, stay safe, stay dry. All right, wanted to go back in time real quickly. I got some video of that impressive lightning show we saw overnight. Again, we don't see stuff like this too often here in Hawaii. Also, a reminder, Wilson Tunnel's lights have been acting up today. Always scary to drive through there when the lights are out. And then there's been some power outages, a great resource to check if you want to see if your neighborhood is dealing with a power issue before you head back home from work, is HECO's Twitter or website. I will pull it up here momentarily when I have my hands free and check for you, but that's a great place to get outage updates as well.
Jonathan, I also want to play the video over from Molokai if we have
Oh, yeah, I
that
got it
ready.
for you. Hold on
Yeah.
one sec.
We got some video earlier today from one of our viewers there in
There you
Molokai.
go.
This is Kapa'akea in Kaunakakai, Molokai. Take a look at that. The side of the road flooded, brown water everywhere. Just strong, strong rains coming down across the state. I'm also in contact with our chief meteorologist, Jennifer Robbins, right now. They are seeing some extremely strong gusts over on Mauna Kea. Give me a second to read this note here, because this is happening as we speak right now. She's speaking with one of her friends who works at Mauna Kea, and they're
150-mile.
monitoring conditions, and some of their instruments have picked up a strong gust, about 150 miles per hour. Again, this is on the upper levels of Mauna Kea, but that just goes to show that this weather pattern is really just walloping the state from the highest mountaintops all the way down to sea level. We are in for it today, folks. Again, this is your first alert weather day here on HNN extended streaming. Right now, we've got, let me refresh the maps here.
Yeah.
We've got about 9 weather alerts posted. Again, the flash flood warning for the west side of Hawaii Island. There are a number of special marine warnings, a winter storm warning, a high wind warning, a high surf warning, severe thunderstorm watch, gale warning, and flood advisory, and a watch posted. This is directly from the National Weather Service.
And I have another first alert for you coming in. I mentioned HECO, and I would check their sites for you. Just checked, looking at the Hawaiian Electric Twitter account, and what I can report right now, as of about 20 minutes ago, they sent out this tweet saying 1,620 customers without power in the Haleiwa and the Waialua area. They say first responders are en route. Mahalo for your patience. That Twitter account, always very responsive and active, a good one to follow. Also, you can just go directly to their outage map on their website. Of course, doesn't really come in handy if you're without power. So charge your phones, folks. This is the time to keep full battery on those devices and keep your appropriate apps downloaded as well. All right, want to mention this too. You hear us talking about it. First Alert Weather Day. What is that? Well, that's our new promise to you, the viewers here at Hawaii News Now, that we are going to keep track of your weather. It's just like we always have, but we're going to alert you to it a little bit better these days. So today is a First Alert Weather Day. We call it that because there's really, as you've been watching, a lot of conditions out there that can be disruptive or damaging to your day, to your life, and to your property. So we brand it and say it as such. First Alert Weather Day is a day that you need to take action to keep yourself and your property safe, and you'll be hearing it when it warrants. We're not going to call these days often. It's not a common occurrence. So something like this will be a rare day in the months and years to come as we go to this new system of issuing alerts for you and for your day planning and for your week planning.
Yeah, but even in just watching our regular newscast, the first alert will come as soon as our weather team has indicated something that may impact you 7 days out. That's, the good window is a good 7-day period of what will happen in the next 7 days. Of course, forecasts are hit or miss. Sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't. But our weather team has done an amazing job of building this First Alert brand, and we're going to continue to bring that to you on air and online. So again, this has been declared a first alert weather day here at Hawaii News Now, meaning our team is focused on the weather. And this is a new image just in moments
Carol
ago
Cox sent this
from
to
Carol
us.
Cox,
Yep.
more from that 50-foot tree that fell in Mililani. As you can see, crews are on scene working to, I guess, chop it up, clear it away, make sure no other branches fall. And thankfully, looking closer at it, it looks like that tree did fall on the fence line, but I do not believe, or it doesn't appear that it fell on any homes, which is a good thing. But of course, again, strong winds expected, heavy rain, saturated ground. Scenes like this will be common today. And as we continue to dry out, hopefully by tomorrow, things will be a little bit back to normal.
Yeah, guys, and I've been capturing and gathering these images all day long here at Hawaii News Now, starting on sunrise. And I wanted to just play out the first report I filed this morning on sunrise in our 7 a.m. hour, showing you some of the images we've gotten from overnight. Keep in mind, these are from overnight before this latest front came through. So that, again, that ground is so saturated. So that's what we're really concerned about. So I'll just play that out for you. Check out how hard it was raining overnight. This video coming into our newsroom from the Hawaii Kai area. The rain looks like it's blowing sideways. Also caught on camera, some lightning off the beach in Waialua. More video coming to us from Oahu from yesterday. Flooding reported on the Ko'olina golf course. That had to make play difficult for sure. And take a look at this video coming in from the Valley Isle. Intense raging waters in Hapapa Gulch. Even more new video to show you from Maui. This tree down in the Haiku area. And take a look at what yesterday looked like on Hawaii Island. This video of the heavy rainfall was taken above the Kona airport. And we do rely on you to keep those images of today's first alert weather day coming into our newsroom. There's a story posted right now on our H&N digital platforms where you can submit photos and video. And please, take those images very carefully. Don't put yourself in any danger trying to get the perfect pic. I'm Jonathan Jared Sapi, reporting.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for that report. Once again, this is another live look at the radar. We are showing this to you because the radar changes. Like we said, it's live, and these storms are moving fairly quickly. So at the top of the hour, Oahu was just about to get walloped by that band of thunderstorms. But as you can see here, it's already moving out to East Oahu. So this storm system, this cold front, is moving rather quickly.
But if you look very closely at the north central Oahu, there is a pocket of red that I'm certain folks there are getting some heavy rain right now, and you're seeing some really, really pretty severe conditions out of this storm still. So Oahu, you're by no means out of the woods just yet. This storm is moving rather quickly across the island, heading for the Valley Isle. Again, the impacts even more to come for the Big Island. That's why they are currently under that warning situation.
Yeah, as for our friends over on Kauai, right now it appears that you folks are sort of drying out, but again, the atmosphere remains rather unstable, which means these storms can pop up and fire up anywhere once again. And so that's why there are a number of alerts still posted. I'm going to go down the list and read them for you folks. There are about 9 that I can see from the National Weather Service right now. The most urgent one being the flash flood warning. That is for the west side of Hawaii Island. I'll give you some specifics on that in a moment. There's a special marine warning posted, winter storm warning, high wind and high surf warning, severe thunderstorm watch, a gale warning, a flood advisory, and a flood watch. First, I want to start with the flash flood warning. It remains in effect until 1:30 this afternoon for the island of Hawaii. Around 12:30, forecasters said their radar picked up strong rain moving over North Kona and South Kona districts. The rain gauges also picked up rain falling at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Now, rainfall is still occurring over ground that's already been saturated from this prefrontal bands that we have been seeing. And so flooding will be it's not going to take much to flood the grounds, basically, and flood the roads. I also want to talk about the severe thunderstorm watch. That remains posted until 2 p.m. this afternoon for the following areas: Oahu Windward Waters, the Kaiwi Channel, Maui County Leeward Waters, Pailolo Channel, Oahu Leeward Waters, Maui County Windward Waters, Ma'alaya Bay, and the Ale Nui Haha Channel. So the severe thunderstorm watch means that conditions are favorable for these thunderstorms to pop up once again. Not only can you expect heavy rain, thunder, and lightning, but with the severe thunderstorms, hail could also be a possibility. We've been seeing some alerts that say, keep an eye out, pea-sized hail could fall in your neighborhood. Also accompanying these severe thunderstorms, damaging winds of 58 miles per hour or higher.
The summits are seen way higher.
Yeah, those summits, definitely. And I want to mention those summits one more time. I got a little bit more information from our chief meteorologist, Jennifer Robbins. Once again, she said unofficial reports from rangers on Mauna Kea have been monitoring conditions remotely and have seen weather instruments reading up to 132 knots, which is about 150 mile per hour gusts. There was also one I saw in her notes that clocked in at 104 miles per hour, and this is the upper levels of Mauna Kea. So not a lot of people should be in those areas, of course, because the dangerous conditions are happening as we speak. But again, the upper level jet and dynamics of the first alert weather team has been something they've been tracking constantly. And these stronger gusts have been forecast for the summits to see these strong and erratic gusts. So that's a roundup of some of the alerts. And one other thing, the high wind warning for all Hawaii Islands remains posted through Monday afternoon. And that includes the high wind warning for the Big Island summits through 6 a.m. Wednesday, and a high wind warning for Haleakala through 6 a.m. Tuesday. And high wind warnings are posted when we are expecting winds. Well, right now it says winds are between 25 to 40 miles with localized gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And that is more in the populated areas of the communities, especially downslope areas. So keep an eye out there if you live in the downslope areas, Windward, Oahu, and such.
And more new video coming into our newsroom. This is from our Chelsea Davis there on Maui. This is from the Pulehu Road area. I'm told it's by the landfill. You can see, turn around, people. Don't drown. That's the slogan that the National Weather Service likes to say. If you don't have a really high-profile vehicle, that guy might have been safe, but
he's lucky.
It made it through. But you don't want to go through these running waters or moving waters because your car can float. It can get pushed off with just less than a foot of water.
Yeah,
you can
it
get
doesn't
knocked
take
right off the
much.
road. Yeah, you don't want to do that. This, again, coming from Maui, another road crossing there. Really shouldn't be doing that. Again, the National Weather Service always says, turn around, don't drown when you see water like this over a roadway. Got even more video coming into our newsroom as we go along in this afternoon. Dylan, I wanted to remind folks of what you were mentioning also about that closure real quickly, because I'm getting a lot of tweets out there and I'm seeing a lot of people dealing with this mess.
Yeah, this is, of course, again, in Windward, Oahu. Kamehameha Highway is closed in both directions between Haiku Road and He'eia Street. Leaning poles have forced the closure there. This is some video from the area of where the closure begins. Police are directing traffic into alternative routes, so be mindful of where you're heading this Monday afternoon on this first alert weather day. And one more reminder for our friends over on Hawaii Island, there is a road closure in Kona along Highway 190 near the 33-mile marker. This is between Old Government Road and Ka'iminani Drive. So police there, that's due to a fallen tree. Police there are on scene and working to clear up what is blocking the road there.
All right, so we're going to just take this live and see what happens. This is the Surfline cameras we check into from time to time, and we have a producer out there in the newsroom who's trying to pull some up for us right now and just try to get an idea of what the live wave action is there on the North Shore. Looking sort of choppy right now, I got to say. Yeah, I'm not sure what beach this is, but I can tell you it's Oahu's North Shore, and it definitely looks choppy. And if you look in the foreground there, I'll even drop the tickers just so you can see it, even though the picture's frozen there momentarily. Check out what you see there, that nasty brown water.
Yeah, and that brown water, I do want to say, things may look fairly clear now, but it's really in the days that follow severe weather that the runoff feeds into the ocean, and it is a dangerous thing. You do not want to be swimming in that.
No, you can get all sorts of infections.
And not only the infections, there are some pesticides and dirt and all that, but it's also prime ground for sharks. And as we know, there have been at least two notable shark incidents in Hawaii waters recently within the last week. So definitely be careful, be cautious, and if the water is brown, do not swim in it.
Yeah, that's the case for sure. And a lot of people aren't swimming in Waikiki right now. Again, we showed this to you a bit earlier, but I just think this shows you how people are taking action today and doing the right thing, staying inside, staying out of the water, staying dry, staying safe. This is Waikiki, and it is empty, a ghost town. Keahi Tucker's out there sending us this video. Got a few surfers in the water, but not too many, even at that. Again, Waikiki, totally empty. Also, a jellyfish alert for you, too, it looks like, judging from the sign there as well. But this perspective really shows you how empty it is, looking there at the at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel right there, the classic pink lady hotel that it is known as, and it's usually packed with people sitting outside with their beach umbrellas and beach towels, lounging in that beautiful sun our state is known for, but not today, my friends.
Not today.
No.
Jonathan, going back to that live camera, that was
it's
the
refreshing
Velzy
right there, but yeah,
still refreshing.
Yeah.
Also, okay, again,
where was
guys,
it though? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Velziland on
Okay.
Oahu's North Shore. We are constantly checking our internal communication here, and just within the last few seconds, hail has been reported in Kahuku. We just got a photo, and we're going to work to bring this up for you. This is in Salt Lake,
This is
not
the Salt
what
Lake
we're talking
stuff,
about
yes.
here, but hail has been reported in Kahuku. Someone sent us a photo of, I guess, pea-sized hail in the palm of their hands.
I'm working on
Oahu's
that. We'll
North
get
Shore.
it for you momentarily.
And while Jonathan works on that, I do want to give you folks a heads up on Maui. Pi'ilani Highway between Kipahulu and Ulupalakua remains closed until further notice. This is from the Maui Emergency Management Agency. Take a look at that.
That's the closest to the winter wonderland you're going to see here outside the summits. That's
this
for
is
sure.
coming from Noel, Portugal. He gave us permission to use this photo. Again, hail is falling in Kahuku on Oahu's North Shore. Of course, they got swamped with some heavy thunderstorms and rain earlier. So in the severe thunderstorm watch and warning, when they say pea-sized hail is possible, here's the evidence,
There's
folks.
the proof right there. And some damages and dangers that come along with hail. Keep it
Cars.
under cover. It can
Yes.
cause a lot of damage. It can cause damages to roofs, trees. It can also sort of, if there's loose tree branches and things from the wind, the hail can sort of contribute and sort of knock them around as well.
One, I want to quickly mention 1 year, several years ago, there was hail on Kauai, and I remember I wasn't there for it, but the aftermath of it, all my grandma's tea leaves plants were all shredded, and it was a completely amazing sight. It was like perfect if you needed to make one grass tea leaf skirt. It's already shredded for you. But hail can do some serious damage to houses and cars. Luckily, so far, we have not heard of any major damage to homes or to cars, aside from that tree that fell on the Tesla in Kapolei. We have not heard of any blown roofs, any major emergencies so far, but we are definitely keeping a close eye on this. We've got our team spread out across the state, bringing you the very latest on air and online. Once again, this live radar, the band of thunderstorms, the vigorous cold front that our weather team has been tracking, appears to be moving on to Maui County and Kona side of Hawaii Island, also still seeing a lot of thunder and lightning out there, accompanied by some heavy rain.
And I don't have Billy V's fancy graphics, but I have my hands here and I can do a little demonstration. So what's happening now, the wind's coming in a different direction than they typically do for the windward sides. So you got our mountains there, the windward sides over here. The winds are actually coming down, sliding down the slopes, which make them even stronger. It's basically hitting a slide and creating speed and causing the wind action to really ramp up with this storm system. So Billy V has a whole explanation that he has shot and produced. It's on your weather page. You can click on the video there on your H&N digital platform, so you can see he does a much better job explaining it than I can, of course. And again, also, other than this that we're seeing, which is such a rare sight, we get it from time to time, like you said. Your grandma's dealt with it, definitely. And many people have over the years. Hail, it does happen here with most thunderstorms across the globe. It can happen, but we don't see it too often. Another thing we don't see too often with our storm systems, all that purple lightning. We get it from time to time, but we don't see it like this too often at all. And just look, I'm very eager to hear what Jennifer Robbins has to say and Ben Gutierrez has to say about the number of strikes we've had over the past day or so with this huge storm system that is battering the state right now. Also should mention to you right now as well, we have a place for you to submit your photos right now on our H&N digital platforms, and that is very easy to find. There's a story and there's a submit button. You can do either one. The story says photos, and so you obviously click on that, go through it, submit your photos. Main thing to keep in mind there, you gotta do it safely. Don't be dangerous. Don't put yourself in danger trying to get the perfect selfie or the perfect storm pic. It's not worth it at all. And if it looks dangerous and it looks like it was taken dangerously, we're not going to use it anyway. So don't even try. Don't try. Yeah.
Most definitely. But again, our severe weather team is tracking all of the conditions across the state. This is another look at that 50-foot tree down in Mililani. Crews are on scene trying to work on cutting that up and hauling it away. Other than Kamehameha Highway right now, I don't believe there are any other major road closures here on Oahu. We do know of the Maui road closure. Let me pull up that note really quickly. It is Pi'ilani Highway between Kipahulu and Ulupalakua, which remains closed until further notice. And on Hawaii Island Highway 190 near the 33-mile marker, that is also closed right now. I don't believe there are any closures on Kauai, but I would have to double check that for you folks. Again, this is all happening as we speak. This is some live news coverage for you guys on this first alert weather day.
Yeah, and so for the time being, here's what we're going to do on this extended live stream. We're going to take a little break. We're going to run out to the newsroom, reassess, and if anything warrants, we're going to come back on live and keep it coming. Keep that news coming to you as we get more damage reports and more video and more updates coming in regard to the storm, which is still very active. So we're just going to take a quick break, but we're going to leave this radar up for you so you can keep tracking the storm. Dylan and I are just going to run out for one moment, and we'll be back as news warrants. Keep checking your H&N digital platforms for updates on this first alert weather day. Aloha, everyone. Thanks for watching this special report coming to you from the H&N Digital Center. I'm Jonathan Jared Soppy. Alongside Dylan and Cheta, we are tracking a lot of developments on this first alert weather day, including some brand new images just into our newsroom. And I want to start by showing you this. This is from Makaha, I believe, in the 11 a.m. hour. You can barely see it there, but a rain-wrapped water spout. That's hard to say, but yeah, a rain-wrapped water spout taking form there on the west side of Oahu, and conditions are right, I assume, and we will check with Jennifer Robbins here momentarily and seeing even more of these. Dylan's got even more new video.
Yeah, we also got video out of Molokai. We've been seeing some images there all morning. This is from our viewer, Keani Rollins Fernandez. Look at that. You cannot see beyond Molokai within the bay at all. Severe rain falling down over there on Molokai. She also sent us some video of roads that were flooded out, washed out, and we'll be sure to bring you some of those images later on in this extended
I got those for you
stream.
right there too. That was a picture
right
bit
there.
earlier there. You can just see the ponding there along the roadways there on the island. A similar scene playing out across the state as we track this really brutal winter storm, cold front making its way across the state. Maui seeing the worst of it right now, I believe. Yeah, and here's a live look at our radar. As we take this live look, I want to bring in someone to our coverage right now. Jennifer Robbins, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Robbins. Jennifer, what is the very latest on this advancing storm?
Man, this has been a storm, one for the record books for sure. We usually get storms like this maybe once a year. So this is a situation where we had really strong upper level dynamics. And within the last 24 hours, squall after squall after squall has come through. So strong lines of thunderstorms. And with those individual storms themselves, those are on a different scale. Like when we're talking about meteorology, we look at the big picture. That's called the synoptic scale, and that's the front itself. But then when you hone on in and then you zoom on in to what's happening ahead of the front, that's the mesoscale, and we're seeing these little bursts of energy ahead of the cold front itself. The cold front right now just passing us and moving towards Molokai, and we're seeing a line of mean thunderstorms there. We're talking about dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning. So if you hear it roar, go indoors. We're seeing rates about 1 to 3 inches per hour, so the visibility on the Friendly Isles very poor at this hour. The tallest sea cliffs in the world, you'll likely not be able to see them, and you definitely would not want to fly through this kind of weather. But the good news in all of this is fast moving. So the front itself is vigorous, but it is moving pretty quickly, so we're likely going to be seeing clearing conditions, at least for the western end of the state, starting the next couple of hours. Already the Garden Isle is in the clear, so they're seeing blue skies, thinning of clouds, not a whole lot of moisture out there, but we're still in the thick of it when it comes to the clouds as you go towards the east. The North Shore right now, embedded within clouds, we're seeing some heavy pockets of rain there. But then as far as the strong thunderstorms, that is right now over at Lanai, the West Maui Mountains, Molokai, and then we're starting to see some of the lightning strikes that will be making its way over Maui itself. And then we have another isolated line of thunderstorms over Hilo right now as well, and that's bringing on downpours. But it's the winds that these individual thunderstorms can create. They're called straight line winds. And they could be very damaging, up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. So when these thunderstorms have these strong updrafts and downdrafts, we could see the potential of very, very heavy rain, and also the potential for winds that are going to be damaging at times. So very interesting scenario, but this is quickly moving through. So I think the western end of the state, including us here, have seen the worst of it. Now it's Maui County's turn, and then we'll likely see some of that residual moisture hang on over Hawaii Island. My friend Grant, who's on the summits there, who's working remotely, has said that there's been gusts up to 132 knots on the summits alone. So that just shows you how the system has been tied into those upper level winds. Yesterday, I got a few pictures from viewers that were showing standing wave clouds near Hawaii Island, and with those standing wave clouds, it's just a good indication that the upper level winds are very strong. And that has been the story for this. Usually when we get a cold front, it's not a textbook example of a cold front. We usually get the tail end of it. The parent low is so far north over the Pacific that we don't see a lot of damage from it. This one's a different story. This is a lower latitude storm itself. It's associated with a lot of cold air. It's vertically stacked. And those upper level winds give it a lot of support. It's that lifting mechanism that we've been seeing that has been creating a lot of severe thunderstorms. And we've been getting reports of hail, like you said. You began talking with this block about the water spout that we saw. So we've been seeing water spouts as well. And these are tornadic because they're coming from these towering cumulonimbus clouds, which are above 40,000 feet. But the good news in all of this, at least today's episode, will be fast moving. Even though Maui County's in the thick of it right now, this front is moving pretty quickly.
And Jennifer, I have the video playing right now of that water spout that has been reported off Oahu's west side at around 11 a.m. a couple hours ago. But if any more of these form, you mentioned tornadic activity. If any more of these form, I know typically water spouts totally harmless. But is there a difference with this type of storm? Is that what you're implying?
Yes, these are more tornadic if you do. Usually you have two different kinds of water spouts, like you said. You usually can have converging winds, kind of fair weather, but then those billowing clouds, and then along the converging winds you could actually see it drop a water spout, and those are pretty common here. We usually get that. I remember seeing one myself over the Windward Waters a couple years back, and I was at the sandbar, and that was a very interesting scenario, but it's harmless. These situations, they're pretty fast too. They're associated with these strong thunderstorms. So as far as the damage that they can cause, if there is a severe thunderstorm and it does drop a water spout, we've seen this years ago where we saw golf-sized hail even, I believe, golf ball-sized hail in Kaneohe, and it had a water spout that then reached land and became, officially a tornado, and that was about EF0. So it did create some damage to a few properties there.
Yeah, I remember covering that. That was almost a decade ago.
We can see that.
Yeah, Jennifer, I have a quick question for you as well. Over on Hawaii Island, there is a flash flood warning for the Kona side, and we're seeing, looking at the radar, a band of thunderstorms there, and then it looks like to be the main cold front approaching Maui County. How much of the rain that is being seen on Hawaii Island is considered prefrontal moisture, or is this just, are they going to be hampered part one, part two, and should they not be fooled by the clear skies in between?
That's a very good question. I mean, I don't know if you remember, you're probably indoors working on your guys' show and getting everything ready, but this morning we had a little bit of a lull between the front itself. I saw some clearing skies, blue skies, like, oh, yeah, there, looks like a nice day, right? But then moments afterwards, as the front picked up, that's when we saw the driving force behind those powerful winds and it moving quickly. So right now, a lot of that moisture has been collected over Kailua Kona. Actually, Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea has a big role of some of that moisture being anchored to them a little bit longer than what we've seen for the rest of the island chain. So they've already seen saturated grounds within the last 24 hours, which is a huge concern for us. That's why any thunderstorms that do form could promote towards flooding, and that's why it's a big concern. And we just have to remember the power of water. I've been seeing Chelsea's footage from Maui, Chelsea Davis. She's been sending in footage of some washed out roadways, and the power of water. It really doesn't take a whole lot to lift up cars, to lift up people. So you can really get yourself in danger, even though it could be just a short amount of time. It could quickly develop. And you have to remember there's things that you can't see that's happening in the mountains, even though maybe you're closer to Makai. If you look Melka, it could be pouring there, and it could be with those heavy downpours, lots of runoff. And then with all that runoff, it has nowhere to go but down, and then it washes some places out. So later tonight, actually in the next couple of hours, we're really going to have to watch this line of thunderstorms for places like Kihei. That's a area that has been prone to flooding. And then again, Kailua Kona will get the second wind of this after it marches through. We'll see how much steam is left from this front, but the good news, like I said, at least this front is moving quickly, so it's not going to sit on top of them for the next 24 hours and anything like that. We'll likely be seeing probably a brief episode of what they have already been experiencing.
And Jennifer, I know you have to start getting ready to come into work to keep giving us more coverage all afternoon long here at H&N. But real quickly, very impressive pictures coming into our newsroom of hail. And I want you to give us a description of what we're seeing here.
I was talking about this on Thursday and Friday when I was looking at the upper level dynamics. Hail, we don't get storms that hail very often, and like I said, this system is vertically stacked. It has lots of cold air, a lot of individual thunderstorms that are forming with individual storms within this whole like synoptic scale scenario. We're seeing even at the smaller scale these individual thunderstorms, and that's why these towering cumulonimbus clouds, they're called CB clouds. If the pilots, when they're flying around, you want to completely avoid them if you can, because they can be very unpredictable, as you know, and strong updrafts and downdrafts. And usually you get these little particles within the cloud, and it kind of like bounces around like popcorn in the cloud, up and down, and that's strong and updraft and downdraft. And then it then passes the freezing level of the cloud. And once it passes the freezing level and keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, finally it's too heavy, gravity takes over, and that's when hail falls. And we've been seeing about pea-sized hail, so nothing too significant, but hey, as a weather enthusiast, it's pretty cool to see here in Hawaii.
Well, Jennifer Robbins, we're going to talk more about hail here, but we're going to let you go and come into the studio so you can get in front of your graphics and start doing what you do best, explaining the weather. That is why you're our First Alert Chief Meteorologist. Thanks so much for calling in live and keeping everyone updated here from the H&N Digital Center as well.
Thank you, and everyone keep safe, be safe. If you hear it roll, go indoors, and it's just really exciting. One last point. Snow levels are falling a little bit lower on Mauna Kea, so officially, because it's going to be cold on the summits, we could have a white Christmas here in Hawaii May. So that's something to be excited about. After all this moves through, I think the weather is going to be a big improvement for us tomorrow into Wednesday. So for all of you that need to do those last-minute Christmas errands, it's looking pretty good. Christmas Day is looking good. We do have a third front coming our way the end of this week, but it's much weaker. So what we're seeing right now is probably the worst of what we're going to be facing throughout the week. So be safe, everyone.
You set me up for it. I said last question, but you set me up for it because you're talking about the summits, and you were reporting over our internal messaging system some really impressive numbers there when it comes to wind gust. And real quickly, just explain that to us, what was happening there.
Well, we're usually, if you're looking at an upper level wind chart, I don't show this chart very often. It's called the 500 millibar weather model, and I was looking at the GFS weather model, and that shows you upper level winds at 18,000 feet, and that shows you that we have a jet that's right over the island bringing in this cold air aloft, and that's why you're seeing all of these individual storms get, it's that lifting mechanisms with the upper level dynamics supporting it. So usually when you get that kind of scenario, you could have very strong winds aloft. And Mauna Kea, with it being so high, there's experiencing winds up to 132 knots. And this is a report that we've seen come in this morning. Last night, it started off about 60 to 70. It jumped up to 132 today. So it just shows you what those upper level winds are doing. So it's very interesting to see this. That area trough, or the lower pressure system, is going to be opening up and moving towards the north within the next 24 hours. So it's going to be much more stable and much more calm, and we'll have drier air fill in, but still a breezy episode maybe tonight through tomorrow, and then transition into more stable conditions for Tuesday afternoon for most everyone. Maybe some residual moisture hanging on over Hawaii Island and the summit itself too. But pretty interesting to look at the whole dynamics of this system. And I just always say that weather is always changing. It's dynamic. It's fascinating. And, this storm system is going to eventually be lifted well to the north and maybe even head towards the Pacific Northwest by the time we get into Christmas. So it's really amazing.
Snow
how
for the
it's all
Sierra
connected
Nevadas,
with
maybe.
each other.
More snow for Sierra Nevadas, huh? Oh, I think we lost Jennifer. Well, Jennifer, that was just me guessing on that Sierra Nevada snow. We'll just have to wait and see. Jennifer Robbins joining us live here in the H&N Digital Center via phone. Always appreciate her expertise. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We'll see you in the studio here very shortly. All right, so hanging up on Jennifer. Bye-bye. Great job.
Amazing.
She does an amazing job.
Yes.
That really is why she's our first
Yes,
chief
thank you so much,
meteorologist.
Jennifer, for calling in.
And so, real quickly, let's get back to the visual of the day. At least I can say that so far. This hail, hopefully no one's car was damaged, no one's roof's been damaged by this stuff, but Noel sent us this picture. And for those listening and not being able to look at the screen, yeah, about pea-sized hail in the palm of her hands fitting there, several pieces. Our Eddie Dowd had a chance to talk with Noel. I should mention, I believe this picture is from Oahu's North Shore, Kahuku.
Kahuku, yes,
and then
correct.
this picture, Dylan, refresh me.
This picture is
North Shore.
this is brand new. This is from courtesy Daniel Cook Jr. Hail is being reported in Wahiawa. So
Wahiawa,
both we
okay.
have hail coming down on Oahu's North Shore as well as central Oahu. So the severe thunderstorm warning that indicated hail was going to be falling around the island is happening right now.
Yeah. And of course, those were captured several minutes ago. And we should mention there is a couple of alert updates, correct?
Yeah, I want to give you guys an update to the alerts. Actually, it seems like conditions are improving. Now, this radar looks alarming,
Yeah.
but conditions are improving on the western end of the state. So, Kauai, skies are clearing. I've been told that the skies are blue there, but the temperatures are fairly cold over there. And Oahu, while still moist, is kind of clearing out.
Yeah,
We're
flood
not out of the
advisory
woods
canceled.
yet. Yeah, so the two updates within the last half hour, we're told by our Ben Gutierrez, the flash flood warning for Hawaii Island has expired and the flood advisory for Oahu has also been canceled. Now, the only big alerts that do remain, there are about 7 that are in place, but the 2 that most people have to be concerned about is the flood watch and the severe thunderstorm watch. And that is basically saying that conditions are present for these things to occur. It will be easy for many places and communities to flood because grounds are already saturated. A little bit of rain will do a lot of damage if it continues into the night. And the severe thunderstorm watch basically is right below the warning. It says that the conditions are favorable for more severe thunderstorms to pop up. And as you can see, the line of thunderstorms, the most vigorous and brutal line of the thunderstorms, is currently approaching Maui County. But for now, it appears to have cleared Kauai and Oahu. The thunderstorms also on the eastern end of the state by Hawaii Island, Kailua Kona, and over on Hilo side is also moving eastward. And so we've been hearing all morning that this system, this cold front, is moving fairly quickly. So we started the day off with some rainy conditions. By noontime here on Oahu, it was probably the worst of it. And right now into the afternoon, things seem to be drying out for us here on the Gathering Isle, but the Valley Isle and Maui County, you guys are in for a wild ride.
And Jennifer did a good explanation about why Hawaii County could also seem, you mentioned it as a 1-2 punch or 1-2.
Yeah, essentially.
The two still to come.
Across the state, there have been some thunder showers, thunderstorms from as early as last night and maybe even the day before, if I remember correctly. But those apparently weren't the main front. Those were all prefrontal bands. We got some video of these lightning strikes here. A lot of it cloud to cloud, but also some reported cloud to ground. I saw one photo from Waikele from our Terry Reese who showed the lightning bolt I believe touching what appeared to be a tree there. And so with this system, also the winds, we got to be careful of that. There are several road closures, which we'll tell you more about in just a little bit. But again, video from all over the state showing the impacts of this severe weather day.
Can we get back to this?
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm excited about this?
Pea-sized hail,
Yes.
Kahuku and Wahiawa.
Yeah, and so our Eddie Dowd actually talked to Noel, I believe, who captured this image and captured that hail in their hand. I'm going to play out a portion of that audio interview right now.
I couldn't believe it. I read it on the report a couple hours before, but I couldn't believe it. So I just heard the noise hitting the windows, hitting the roof, came outside and saw these little balls of hail.
And is this you've seen hail before in that area, right?
Not in this area, no, not yet.
How long have you lived in Kahuku?
5 years or more, yeah.
I never seen hail.
Never.
Oh, wow. All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
Oops, that's our Eddie down there conducting an interview with one of the lucky folks who got to see the hail just a few minutes ago, maybe in the last hour or so. Also, a number of downed trees being reported across the state.
This one is in Mililani. Crews there are, it looks like it fell on the fence line, not damaging the home there, but we're told that this is about a 50-foot tree that came down earlier this morning. We also got the image of a tree that fell on a car in Kapolei. Look at that, a Tesla in a parking lot. Not sure what area, what shopping center that is, but tree down there. And there was also another image here, and I don't know if we have this queued up, but it was near the food land, another massive tree blocking a route there.
I don't have that.
We don't have that one. Okay, that's fine. But yes, trees are coming down around the state. So that's something to keep an eye out if you are on the roads. Be very, very careful. And also in a little bit, we will talk about flight delays and cancellations. But for now, look
more
at
new
this
video.
road.
Yeah, this is new video coming in from the north shore of Oahu. I believe our Daryl Huff took this, just showing more ponding on the road. We're going to keep seeing this just like that. And that's, you got to be careful because you can easily hydroplane in conditions like that. Looks like folks there taking it very slow. And I can not tell if that's from storm surge overrun of the road or from the rain itself. I'm guessing from the looks of it in that area, it's probably from the storm itself, but it is also an area that is prone to those stormy conditions taking over and going over the roadway as well.
Let's go ahead and talk about our road closures right now. So there are several road closures across the state here. The first one here on Oahu, Kamehameha Highway, is closed in both directions between Haiku Road and He'eia Street due to leaning poles. This is where officers are redirecting traffic there. I looked through our traffic cameras. Over on Maui, Pi'ilani Highway between Kipuhulu and Ulupalakua remains closed until further notice. County officials are also urging tourists to not head into Hana. They are restricting Hana traffic to locals only. Of course, the road to Hana is very treacherous even on a normal day. There's so many twists and turns and waterfalls and beautiful sights, but today is not the day to go out to Hana, especially with that approaching band of thunderstorms coming right there. And over on Hawaii Island, Highway 190 near the 33-mile marker in Kailua Kona is closed due to a fallen tree. It's blocking the roadway, and at least one lane of traffic on Highway 190 between Old Government Road and Kaiminani Drive is closed, and officials are working to contraflow traffic there. So again, that's the latest of the road closures. We don't have any reports of any major closures on the island of Kauai, but we are keeping a very close eye on everything.
All right, no damage to report coming from this video, but it is impressive to look at. We're looking at a water spout that formed around the 11 a.m. hour on Oahu's west side. This is from the Makaha area. Also, keep in mind, check out those wave conditions. We're watching that as well with this storm. Not so much for the west side. We're really talking some other areas seeing the super big waves at this hour, but this water spout taking form is sent to us by Debbie there on Oahu's west side. Jennifer Robbins will do a great job of explaining this and how this water spout's a little different than the typical ones we see. She's saying this one is tornadic in its activity. No damage though from this, but if it was to come to shore with a storm like this, it could be damaging. At this time, we got to tell you, this is a first alert weather day, and there's a reason why we call it that and that we're branding it that way. It's because a day that has the potential of bringing damage and dangerous conditions into your life. We're not going to call first alert action days very often. This will be a rare occasion. It's just to alert you, to let you know there is extra caution to be had on a day like today. And also a reminder when it comes to that and plugging things here from H&N that we have a severe weather app. So this radar that you're looking at right here. You can zoom in even closer to the island or street you live on our radar that's available right at the palm of your hand on your H&N Severe Weather app. Download it now if you haven't already, because if the power goes out, you won't be able to get to the TV set. You will not be able to get to your computer unless you have a generator.
Yeah.
So you need those smart devices to stay informed, stay connected in situations like this. Be prepared.
Most definitely. And also, I want to say that I am live on the Instagram right now, and I asked people what the conditions were like in their neighborhood. I have some people who watching from Kapolei who said it was very gusty out there. Someone in Kona, my friend Palemano out there, says it's windy in Kona, cold and dark. This video is from Salt Lake from a bit earlier, about 11:30, I believe, this morning. Whipping winds and rain. That rain practically coming in horizontal. And look at the trees being blown around.
Love that you're getting the peeps on the Instagram to take
Yeah,
part. Talk
of
about
course.
Coconut Wireless. Loving it.
Yeah,
Loving
I
it.
mean, nothing
Yeah.
better than direct from the people.
Yeah.
I also have one auntie who's in Texas, and she says it's 45 degrees there. But
You know what, though? We should mention that because the mainland is due for a huge Arctic blast as well coming that way. Places like Chicago going to see blizzard-like conditions expected. So if you're heading to the mainland, sorry, you're going to leave this beautiful weather we're dealing with now.
And
if you're heading home for the holidays, you're going to get some more.
Holiday
So
travel.
Sorry about that.
Speaking of holiday
Yes,
travel, we
yes,
also
yes,
want to give
yes,
you some
yes.
important information about impacts to flights. If you are traveling to, from, in, and around Hawaii, be prepared for some delays. Now, the winter storm that we are currently dealing with has led to about at least 10 flight cancellations. I believe most of them are inter-island, although we'd have to double check that. And well over 100 reported delays at Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. And of course, this disruption today comes on the heels of a very, very alarming incident that happened yesterday in which a number of people, 36 people, were injured, 11 of those seriously injured when the flight from Phoenix to Honolulu hit a bout of turbulence. And so that was very, very concerning because people reportedly were flying amongst the cabin. Not a lot of people were buckled into their seat. People described it as basically a nightmare flight. And so if you are traveling today, be mindful, check with your airlines for delays, for cancellations, and pack a little extra patience if you are. Here's some video
Here's
from
that turbulence flight.
Yeah.
I have to say, I was on a flight yesterday from JFK back here to Oahu, and it was coming in after this incident happened, and they were so cautious about it on my flight that was coming again hours after this one that they shut down beverage service and made everyone take their seat more than an hour before landing. So typically it's like 30 minutes, but they said we're expecting some really rough turbulence. They didn't say that this had happened, but I was connected to Wi-Fi and I knew.
Yeah.
So,
And
but yeah,
there you
very,
can see some
very scary
emergency
situation.
crews. They were assisting passengers who had injuries. We heard of a hydro flask hitting the ceiling, the panels there. Look at that. That's intense. That is absolutely terrifying to be on a flight and then all of a sudden just the plane drops. And it sounds like something out of a movie, but it actually happens here. And it's a result of the thunderstorm and the stormy conditions in and around Hawaii.
And can you imagine being on that flight, that terrifying flight, and then you land into conditions like this that are stormy conditions, not exactly what you expect from paradise, and then you make your way to Waikiki on your perfect vacation in the Aloha State, and then you're dealing with this. Two things here. Good thing, no one's there. No one's on the beach. Bad news
empty.
is it's probably going to be a lot of brown water and really yucky conditions that you don't want to get in. So, double-edged sword there for our visitors that might have been flying in the last day or so. There. Exactly. All right. So, real quickly, I guess we're wrapping things up here for the moment. Dylan, you got anything else to share?
Other closures, it looks like there is some good news again. The Honolulu Zoo is planning to reopen today. They were closed in advance of the severe weather. The Kahuku Golf Course remains closed this afternoon. And we haven't heard of any other major closures. I know Mayor Blangiardi had to shift around his schedule today because of this severe weather. He had some groundbreakings and some ceremonies to attend, which we were going to cover. But of course, in the interest of the severe weather, those have been postponed as well. But again, the three main road closures, Kamehameha Highway here on Oahu, Pi'ilani Highway on Maui, and Highway 190 on Hawaii Island. Also, Hana Highway restricted to local traffic.
All right, gang, we are going to leave you with this streaming live radar, the state view right now. Don't forget, you can just get it yourself at the palm of your hand. Download the Severe Weather app. We're going to come back. If any news warrants, we'll be back and bring you updates as new video comes in or any new information comes in. But for now, we'll leave this live radar up for you in the meantime as this extended stream continues on this first alert weather day. Another successful half hour. Wow, we produced 3 hours of news today.
Awesome.
That's crazy. That was a fun one. Jennifer was great.
That was good.
I can envision Chelsea getting hammered right now.
I know.
That's the one thing I'm worried about. Let's just give it a half hour and then see where we are.
Okay.